Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful ribbon hair bow. So to make this hair bow you will need some good quality scissors. I use Fiskars fabric scissors, a lighter to heat seal the ends. I've got a couple of fabric clips. You can use some extra hair clips to hold the ribbon in place as you're making it. A hair clip of your choice, or you can use an elastic, or you can stick this on a headband. It's completely up to you. I've got my tape measure, a needle threaded with some strong thread, and I've already popped a knot in the end. And I'm going to be using this Hot Fix rhinestone trim in the middle. Everything that I use in this tutorial I will link in the description below, so you can check all of the items out. So 4 pieces of ribbon, 2 in one measurement and 2 in another. So these 2 pieces here, they are both 1.5 inch wide or 4 centimeters wide. And both pieces are cut to 24.5 centimeters in length, or just over 9.5 inches in length, and that is 2 pieces. And then the other 2 pieces, again they're both the same width, 1.5 inch wide or 4 centimeters wide, and these 2 pieces are cut to 24 centimeters in length, or just under 9.5 inches in length, and again 2 pieces in that measurement as well. And then keeping hold of the lighter, we're going to take one of our 24 centimeter pieces and one of our 24.5 centimeter pieces and set those to one side, because you need one of each of the measurements for one half of the bow. And what we're going to do first is fold these in half, and we're going to mark the center. So I'm going to use a heat from my lighter to mark the center and get a good crease in there. And then I'm going to do the same with the 24.5 centimeter piece of ribbon. So folding it in half and then using the heat from my lighter to mark the crease in there. So they look like this. Taking the 24 centimeter piece, I'm going to pick this up, and then the 24.5 centimeter piece, I'm going to thread this in. So I'm just going to open up the fold, and I'm going to thread the 24.5 centimeter piece inside the 24 centimeter piece, like that. So you make like this little anchor, and you want to make sure that they are all lined up. And then taking one of my fabric clips, or a hair clip if that's what you've got handy, pop that on the corner to hold those in place. I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to do the same with the other 2 pieces. So this is my 24 centimeter piece. Again, I'm going to find the center. And the 24.5 centimeter piece, fold it in half, mark the center. And then we're going to do the same, thread the longer piece inside the shorter piece, but this time we're going to mirror it. So as you can see, this side is like an L shape, and this side is going to be a backwards L shape. So in the same way, threading it inside, making the back to front L shape this time, making sure they are all lined up. And you also want to make sure that when you thread it in, the 24 centimeter piece has got the piece on the top, and this bottom piece is going inside, if that makes sense. Then once you're happy that they are lined up and straight, taking another clip and popping it on the corner. So you've got your 2 pieces like this opposite each other. Again, I'm just going to set this piece aside, and we're going to go back to this piece here. Next we're going to take the 24cm piece, which is underneath coming up to the top, and we're going to meet this inner corner with this bottom corner. So grabbing these two corners together, I'm going to fold them down and meet the corner with this corner here. Again, using my clip just to hold that in place. And then we're going to separate these two pieces now. So taking the top piece first, I'm going to fold it down diagonally and then fold it inward. So it looks like that. And we're going to line this corner up against this piece here. So I'm going to just twist it round slightly so that the two pieces here are in line. And this corner, again, is going to overlap this bottom corner. So all of those corners meet up at this point, clipping those all into place. So it looks like this. And at this point you can just sort of use your fingers like this and roll this up so it's not so low down, so it comes straight across like that. So this is what it looks like now. And then we're going to do the same with this last piece. We're going to bring it down diagonally and then fold it inwards. And this time we're not going to meet this up with the corner, we're going to leave a 1 centimetre gap here. So I'm just going to twist it round to make this edge line up with the bottom so it's all straight. And I'm leaving a 1 centimetre gap just here. So I'll just use my tape measure to check. So we've got 1 centimetre from this middle to this piece here. And then I'm just going to take another clip and pop that on there to hold it in place. And again, you can just use your fingers to roll this piece up so it kind of goes straight across. It don't have to be perfect, but just so they look the same. So this is what you've got now, like that. And now we're going to go back to our other half, which is the back to front L shape, and we're going to do the same, but we're going to mirror it. So in the same way as we did this one, taking the 24cm piece, which is the one coming up from the top, we're going to bring this inner corner, so it's the inner corner which is in this angle here. We're going to bring this down and line both those corners up with this bottom corner. Just making sure that they're together, and then removing this clip, making sure it's in line, and then holding that in place. And then taking this top piece this time, so we're separating these two layers, we're going to fold this out diagonally and then fold it inwards. And then we're going to line this edge up with the edge of this ribbon here, and this corner meets up with the corner. So I'll just keep these pinched with my fingers whilst I remove this to make sure they're both laying straight and all in line with that corner there. And then popping that clip on all of those pieces to hold it in place. And then I'm going to do the same, just roll this piece up so that this piece is going straight across. And then our bottom layer, same thing, folding it towards me diagonally down and then folding it inwards, lining up all of the bottom and then sliding this over so that we have a 1 centimetre overlap here. And then grab another clip to hold that in place. And then you can just check by popping these together to make sure that they are the same width, like that. So we've now got our 2 pieces ready. I'll just slide this piece up so I didn't do that piece yet. So we've got our 2 pieces ready now, the same but obviously mirrored. So now we need our needle and thread, and we're going to do our pinch. We're going to sew in our pinch. So what we're going to aim for is on this piece here, you want 5 stitches and then 1 stitch and then 4 stitches. So 5 in this piece, 1 and 4. So going in through this flat piece here first, through the top for our first stitch. So that's 1. 2. Our third one's going in the middle for 3. 4. And then the 5th stitch on this piece is going to go in the corner. So that's 5. And you're also going to catch the bottom as well. So making sure you catch this bottom corner. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously the middle number is 3 in 5, so you want to make sure that your 3rd stitch is in the middle of this first piece. And then we're going to come up through the bottom now, because we've come out through the bottom here. So we're going to come back up through the bottom, and we're going to do 1 stitch in this piece. We're going to catch the other half of that corner and come up through the middle of the little 1 centimetre overlap. I can remove this clip now. So it's like that. So I've gone through the other half of that corner and come up through the middle. And now we want 4 more stitches. So I'm going to just remove this clip so you can see I'm keeping it pinched with my fingers. So we're going to go back in through the top now, and we're going to have 4 stitches in this piece. So 1, 2, 3, and then our last one coming up through the bottom toward the top, 4. So we've got 10 stitches all together. 5, 1 and 4. And now I'm going to pull this tight to form that pinch. And then once you're happy that you've got that in there nice and tight, I'm just going to go through the end once, and then on this second go, I'm not going to pull that loop completely tight because I want to go through there a couple of times, and that will form a knot to hold that all in place. And then I'm just going to trim off the excess thread and pop a knot in there for the other half. So obviously the other half of the bow is mirrored, so we're going to be starting on these folded pieces this time because I sew from right to left. So on this piece, as I said, we're going to be starting on these folded pieces this time. If you're left-handed, it might be the other way because you might want to sew from this side. So this time we're going to be doing the 4 stitches to begin with. So going in through the top for our first stitch, 2. I'm just going to keep this pinch with my thumb and finger whilst I remove that clip. 3, 4. So that's 4 in that first piece. And I'm just going to move that clip over. We're going to go in the middle of this 1 centimetre overlap. And we're also going to catch that bottom corner on one side. And then I'm still keeping it pinched together whilst I remove that clip because I don't want this to fall apart now. Coming through the other half of the corner. So like that, around 1/2 centimetre away, and catching the corners on this piece, and we're doing 5 stitches now in this flat piece. So that's 1, 2, third one will be coming directly through the middle of this piece, so 3, and then 2 more, 4, 5. So that's the other half. Again, pull in the pinch and then knot it off at the end. So now we've got our 2 halves ready to join together. I'm just going to take my hot glue gun and place some glue in the middle and bring the 2 middles together. And then taking my hair clip, again you could use an elastic band or a bobble, whichever you call it. You could use a headband, whichever you prefer, but I'm going to use this 45mm double prong clip. It's actually quite small compared to this bow, but my daughter loved these clips. She don't like the toothed ones, and I've only seen these in 45mm, and I find they work well and they hold in her hair, so these are just what I use personally. But if you've got a 55mm hair clip, even up to 65mm, that would work on this hair bow. The finished hair bow measures around 4 inches just over, or around 10 to 11 centimetres wide, depending on if you flatten it out or puff it up. I've got a couple of pieces of ribbon here, 1 centimetre wide by 11 centimetres. One is to wrap my hardware. I just like to wrap my clips. It is optional, personal preference. And the other is to wrap around the centre of my hair bow. If you don't have a ribbon to match, just cut off 11 centimetres from your ribbon and just cut a strip out of that. That is what I've done, to be honest, because I didn't have one to match, but this works for me. So that is a good tip if you haven't got a matching ribbon. So I'm going to line my clip first. As I said, this is optional. And then I'm going to stick this onto the underside of my hair bow. So I've placed the glue on this part and not the pinch part. And I'm going to place that across the centre of the bow, and then before I wrap my centre, I've got a little piece of rhinestone trim. I did check against my bow how much I needed, so this is around 3 centimetres, and I'm going to stick this on my centre strip of ribbon. So to do that, I've got my hair straighteners here warmed up, and I'm just going to hold that on there until it melts onto the ribbon. Again, I will link everything in the description below. You can get these which are not hot fix, but I do like the hot fix ones, and they are quite easy to pop on if you've got some hair straighteners. You can use an iron, but hair straighteners are much quicker and easier. And at this point it's important to let this now cool down, because whilst it's still wet, the glue is still tacky and it will pull off. So I'm just going to let this cool down now. So now that this is cooled down, as you can see, it's stuck on there really well. We're going to hot glue this now to the centre of our bow. So I'm going to start on the rhinestone piece first, so I can get that lined up over the middle of my bow. And then this is going to be a little bit long now, because I did cut it to 11 centimetres, because I normally wrap this around twice, but because we've got the rhinestone on there, we don't need to wrap it round twice. So I'm just going to trim off the excess ribbon, heat seal the ball edges, and then hot glue these down underneath that hair clip. And then I'm just going to reshape my bow, which doesn't need too much fluffing actually, because it's come out beautifully. And this is such a beautiful shape, and it doesn't really use a great deal of ribbon considering how it looks. So these are my favourite style of bows to make, the ones that don't take too much ribbon. And there you go. I really love this colour ribbon as well for this time of year. It's a real lovely autumnal colour. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you press the bell button, that will turn on notifications. I'll be back soon. Bye!